Flyweight division, Davison Figueiredo, 34. I think after making an over 35 curse, this video can give even more insight. I'm just gonna spoil it now. Or just make it a bit obvious for the viewers. No one in flyweight between lightweight has a champion over 35. But let's start at the oldest flyweight champion in the UFC, Davison Figueiredo, or Figgy. At 34 years old, he was the champ. It was a weird rivalry with Brandon Moreno throughout the years, so it was hard to gauge if age affected anything. He lost his flyweight bout via doctor stoppage, but throughout that fourth fight, he didn't really show any signs of aging. When I say aging in a combat sports context, I usually look for athletic ability, because that's the first thing to go. So if I see a fighter getting tired faster than usual, and he's not like his springy twitch muscle maxing self in his striking, then I know it's due to old age. But Figgy is still a monster. Being the first person to knock down fighters, even at 36 years old, and he's about to turn 37, coming into his fight against Peter Yan. Yeah, even if he loses, I doubt it has something to do with his age, which is the weirdest part, considering we are starting with the lightest division. He really is a freak of nature. Bantamweight, Aljamain Sterling, 34. I can't lie. Personality aside, he kinda made a name for himself being champ. Being the oldest bantamweight champion and also the only bantamweight champion to have 3 back-to-back defenses. Although 2 of his 3 defenses were split decisions and he TKO'd a guy with a literal broken shoulder. But regardless, he was at the top during that time. And despite that, he's still good. Sadly, he's not a striker, so it's hard to tell how old he's gotten throughout the years. I doubt his KO from Sean O'Malley was because he was too old for bantamweight. He now fights in featherweight, which is probably a one-way ticket to getting KO'd by Topuria, but oh well, where can you go? He's 35 now and is a ranked featherweight. He will probably lose to the undefeated Movsar, but I think he proved himself to be a good UFC athlete regardless, and he retires at 37 or something. A lot of these very light fighters end quite early with their careers. Featherweight, Alexander Volkanovski, 35. Dang, this one hurts. I don't think any research needed to be put into the featherweight oldest champion. And to make it worse, he was basically making fun of the curse too, the over 35 curse. Yeah, I don't want to dive too deep with this entry because it's been said so many times by so many content creators. Volk probably did get old, but it seems like it was due to his experience at the top, which makes you age faster because the competition is just too intense for, you know, the age gap now. Having that crazy mental battle for his first loss against Islam too, and then back-to-back KOs, you can convince me it's not about age, and it was just the younger generation catching up to him. But Volk is still the man. He's still the man, and yes, I'm coping. Lightweight, Sean Shirk, 33. Sean Shirk, I hope I pronounced that properly, is actually the oldest champion in lightweight history. He was the oldest during his reign, being 33 years old, just to show how competitive this weight class is when a guy from 2006 is holding the record of the oldest lightweight champion of the UFC. But I have to be honest here, Shirk was stripped of the title on December 8th, 2007 after testing positive for anabolic steroids in a post-fight drug test. So with that being said, sadly, he won't count as an entry, technically, because of that. So technically then, Khabib at 32 years old. We can debate if this guy was using steroids or not, but I mean, he didn't get caught with it, so there you go, that's at least enough credit. We all know everyone is in steroids anyway. So to all the people saying Khabib was too young to retire, well actually, he was the oldest lightweight champion in history. Legally, of course. And if we want to be even more technical, Islam Makhachev is the oldest. He is obviously the champion right now, and he is at the age of 33. He actually just turned 33 during the recording of this video, meaning he is the oldest in history. Researching this was kind of a bitch. This will sound nerdy as shit, but we need to define how long a title reign is technically accounted for. If Islam loses to Arman Sarukian, Does that mean his title reign finishes that day? Or will people consider him a reigning champion since his last win as a champion, which was during Dustin Poirier when he was 32? So if you think like the first one, then Islam is the oldest. If you care about the second, then Khabib. And accounting for all of the entries, I've been using the second version. Fucking anyway. Let's get to the actual point of this entry. Does Islam show any form of age being 33 years old in the division? Not at all. Well, I don't think so. I've seen his training videos. He doesn't even look too old yet. No problems with his knees or persisting injuries he needs to be wary of. Well, that I can think of. And even if Islam gets KO'd, submitted, or whatever by Arman Sarukian, I think it will just be part of the game and not by his age. He can still jump back and win. He's not beating the autism allegations if he's still champ at 35. Even if he's champion at 36 or 37, he will be a freak of nature, let's be real, if he breaks that curse. So I know you shouldn't trust ChatGPT with information, but it's very good to just streamline surface level information and then you can do a bit more refined research. So I said, who was the oldest lightweight champion in the UFC during the championship reign? And he said, Randy Couture. Okay, but, actual lightweight, modern day lightweight, 155 pounds, Khabib Nurmagomedov. And then I said, was it Khabib or Sean Shirk? And you're absolutely correct to ask about Sean Shirk, as he actually holds the title for being oldest fighter to reign as UFC lightweight champion in the modern 155-pound division. And then I was like, I don't know why I'm talking to ChatGPT like this, but I said, so you lied? And then he said, good catch. It looks like I made a mistake with my initial answer. I'm like, fuck. I need to get paid for this. And then obviously at the end I said, wait, what about Islam Makhachev? And then the AI said Islam Makhachev actually surpassed Sean Shirk. So I corrected them again to hold the UFC lightweight title. Makhachev won the title on October 22nd, 2022 at 31 years old. Yeah, so that's the whole technicality thing. Welterweight, Belal Muhammad, 36. Now, here is an achievement no one thought Belal will have. As hated as he is in the community, we got to give, this credit. Even if it's not really something that crazy, we just passed the over 35 curse anyway, showing a 36-year-old Belal Muhammad at the top of the welterweight division. And yes, I think he's tied with Tyron Woodley at being 36. And then diving deeper, well, I didn't actually dive deeper, but you know what? Let's just say Belal Muhammad is going to be a tiny bit older than Tyron Woodley when he lost his title. And for Belal, he got the title from training with the oldest lightweight champions, Khabib and Islam. I shouldn't downplay Belal like that also. He is like him as a fighter played a big role in becoming champion too, of course. He has a record of 24-3 and is coming in on a 10-fight winning streak, regardless of the Islam and Khabib boost. And he's been in the UFC for 8 years now, so it's not like his pro record is padded. It's also not quite a flex too, actually, because he's so boring that someone this good had to take 8 years for the title shot. But looking into the fight, yeah, it was boring, but it was such a solid win for Belal anyway. I need to give him that. This fight showed a perfect example of how such a strong wrestling base can scare the striking out of a striker, making him unable to comfortably strike and win. I guess Leon just had that challenge his heart back in 2022 against Usman that time. Again, Belal doesn't really seem to show any age. We are in the welterweight division where it is more forgiving for a few years of primeness, if that's a word. Of course, he gets his cancelled fights and injuries, but it doesn't really allude to aging, I don't think. I don't think I'm the majority of UFC fans where I have a strong hate against the guy, but then again, I don't have any strong emotions towards Belal too, and I think that's the problem. Middleweight, Michael Bisping, 38 years old and 8 months. Coming up to nearly 39, Michael Bisping lost to GSP in that crazy middleweight fight. Now that we are in middleweight, these guys are just bigger. So their chipped athletic ability isn't really recognized because they are just big in general. I mean, the height gap between Belal and Bisping is 6 inches. I mean, did he lose due to his old age? Most likely not. I think GSP is just that guy. And this fighter has way too many contexts for me to even say anything about his age too. Maybe he is old, but he has one eye. Like, have fun trying to be extremely competitive, having no depth perception, and being an ex-middleweight UFC champion. Yeah, very good choice there. It was time to wrap it up, and it was a smart choice too. I guess his retirement fight in London was just in China now. There was debates if Bisping was a good champion or not, having only one title defense, and it was against Dan Henderson. And if Dan won that fight, he would have been the oldest champion at 46 years old. Light heavyweight, Glover Teixeira, 42. No debate here. It was obvious he was the oldest champion in the light heavyweight game. He did a great job though, becoming champ for his age, beating Jan with a rear naked choke. And yes, he never really defended the belt, but his fight against Yeri still proved he was championship level. There were moments where it looked like Glover was going to win the fight, and it was super competitive. It even made Fight of the Year for 2022. You don't make Fight of the Year if it's just one fighter being dominant the whole time. It has to be extremely competitive and fun. Of course, for having such a war at that age, he couldn't keep up with the young contenders, which is why he retired at the right time in his next fight against Jamal Hill. And that was nowhere near competitive. Yeah, his looks is deceiving because he looks old and is old, but goddamn, he fights like he's still young. He didn't even get finished from so many wobbled moments, but it was a good time to hang the gloves. And it was the perfect time to pass the torch to an even younger version of himself, Alex Pereira, heavyweight, Randy Couture, 43. During the recording of this video right now, he is 61 years old. He had many heavyweight championship reigns, but let's talk about his last one. He was 43 years old during that reign, and it goes to show how much more forgiving the bigger weight classes are. We went from 35 years old max to 43 years old. That's nearly 8 years of prime, or at least fighting capability, where you can still potentially be champion. Randy Couture beat Sylvia to become the heavyweight champion, then defeated the bout by finishing Gabriel, but then lost his bout by getting KO'd by Brock Lesnar. Because it's heavyweight and it's just heavy dudes, it's hard to really tell if their age is what made them lose, but regardless, 43. And also, I've been yapping for too long. That's the whole video. Hope this motivated the short kings to do something with their athletic career before they turn 35. Bye.